Oh, wait. What's going on, guys? Um, so, I wanted to make this video, and at the moment of filming this, I don't even know if I'm going to actually put this video out. But I needed to talk about some stuff. And kind of like the video I did on depression last year, maybe it was earlier this year, I don't remember. Um, I need to talk about stuff that's been going on and stuff that might happen in the future or might not happen in the future, just depending on how you want to look at it. And as you can tell, I'm still moving, following the vlogs at all. Some of you are. You've seen the progress or lack thereof. And actually, I still need to update a lot of vlog stuff. Building stuff is right there. Also, not having things set up right, I'm having to deal with my lighting situation here. So, first and foremost, it's something that happened yesterday that I'm dealing with today. I hope something comes out of it. A package from P Bandai went missing due to a mix-up of addresses. It didn't update to my new address when they shipped it, so it got delivered to my old address, and I went to go find it, and it's just gone. I don't know if one of my neighbors picked it up, or what. Nobody seemed to know, at least that I talked to, knew anything about it. It was not taken to the office or anything like that, so no idea. So that was just a big bummer on top of a lot of other things that are going on. Like, for instance, I'm currently lightly injured, at least hopefully lightly injured. And that's definitely been a bummer lately, because now I'm not getting as many hours of work because of the extra stuff that I was doing at work was putting a lot more money in my pocket. And I haven't been able to do that for nearly a week now, because I'm in a lot of pain. I pulled a tendon or muscle, however you want to say it, in my groin, which is lovely and painful, and then also potentially have a pinched nerve in my sciatica, however you want to say that, and it is causing my leg to be on fire a lot. Like, currently it's on fire. Nerve pain is a giant pain. It's stupid, but it's true. All of that has just sort of been on top of me just dealing with some stuff kind of mentally and emotionally since we moved. All starting with the idea that we desperately needed help moving. We hired movers, but it still wasn't enough, especially with my room. Obviously, I have way too much stuff, and luckily, at least Eric came over and helped me pack Gunpla for like a whole afternoon, which was a big help. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to help me further, and neither was anyone else. Whether that's friends or family or co-workers or anybody. Nobody was either available or even responded to my pleas for help. The few people that did reply, at least to Ms. Shoki, never showed up and never responded after saying that they would gladly come help and had plenty of time. So that kind of led to me doing a whole lot on my own towards unloading a truck full of stuff, including all my stuff, which led to me hurting myself. The pain in my leg, which is from the sciatic, which is back problems, started from that. Started from basically not having friends anymore. And that's one of the things that has really been eating at me for a while now, and it's one of the main things I wanted to talk about. And sorry, this is going to be probably another long video like the depression video was, but maybe not. I don't know how long, it's going to be, but basically, I was having a conversation with Bobby Skullface the other day because I didn't know who else I could talk to. I would consider us friendly, at least on a good talking and joking around, and I can call him when I need to ask him something, that kind of situation. And probably if we lived in the same city, we'd probably hang out. You know, at least I'd try and hang out with them and have fun and be friends and stuff like that. And that just basically led me to the idea that locally, I don't have friends anymore. Not really. I mean, I've got like a handful of people I would consider actual friends, and then I have people that I used to be really close with and really good friends with who have all just kind of disappeared into the ether. You know, still talk on Facebook or comment back and forth on Facebook, but that's it. We don't see each other. We talk about seeing each other. We never do it. Uh, you know, if they hold events, they don't tell us, so we don't know to ever come over to an event. If we hold an event, we invite them, and this is a broad term. We invite them, and no one shows up. We've had birthday parties where virtually no one even replied to invites. Invite 40 people. Used to be I could get 15 to 16 to show up. Um, Now I can invite 20 and expect 3 to show up. One of which would be my cousin, who is about, at this point, probably the closest thing to a real friend I've got in person. I would, you know, like I said, I consider Eric a friend. You know, we hang out when we can, not as much as we used to. Um, and, you know, for years now, and I mentioned it before, how my previous relationship cost me a lot of friends. And I've mentioned before how the big split in the local Gunpla community cost me a lot of friends, or at very least, cost me a community of people to hang out with and communicate with. And it's just been going downhill from there. COVID nuked what little progress we had made in the moving forward with creating a new community. Um, and, you know, since that's still currently a problem, you know, I don't even know what the state of that would be if we tried again right now. Um, and I went from feeling like I would definitely be there for anybody who needed me to be there, and that they would be there if I called, to I don't have anyone to call. And, you know, I know a lot of that is just people kind of go their separate ways over time, or people just kind of fall away from each other slowly just due to circumstance. But it's like everyone is just gone. I've got an older friend from what I would consider a different life who's been contacting me a lot more lately, and that's cool. And, you know, we actually went to the bar and hung out the other night, um, which was fine. You know, was I mean, unfortunately, we did it on a work night, so there wasn't a whole lot of fun to truly be had. But I also got the feeling talking with him that he's in a similar boat where, like, a lot of the stuff he used to do he doesn't do anymore, and a lot of the people he used to hang out with he doesn't hang out with anymore, doesn't see anymore. So he's also in that, what I would call, a lonely boat. And frankly, that's where I wanted to get to with a little bit of this. Was I've referred to my collection as my monument to my loneliness. And as I sit here knowing that I've got 4 detolfs to unload 9 detolfs worth of Gunpla into, which you can do the math on how that's not going to work, I think about, do I even want to anymore? Because Gunpla was a thing that I specifically got into a community for. Gunpla clubs, Gundam clubs, whether it was the Texas Gundam Club or the Houston Gundam Club or the Mecha Apocalypse or the one that I can never, Houston Gunpla Builders Association, however we called that. Either way. And while I'm still in those groups, obviously with COVID, not a lot is happening. Now, apparently at Gundam Kingdom, they're having build days on the weekends. I'm sure they're doing something along those lines. But it seems like that's a very tight-knit, small group of guys that are all basically sponsored by Gundam Kingdom. And while I know all those guys, it feels like I'm definitely on the outside of that. Like, yeah, come on by, it's fine. It's like, this seems like your gig, and you're just kind of inviting me to that. And by no means am I saying that I need Gundam Kingdom to sponsor me, because at this particular point, I don't even know if I want to keep building, because it was a sense of community for me. Building these kits, reviewing these kits, talking with my friends about them, going to monthly, if not bi monthly, meets to hang out, build kits, have a sense of community, have a sense of friendship, have a sense of kinsmanship with people who also like what we were doing, to basically being booted out of one club, the next club being all but dead, another one being kind of spread out, but also a little bit elite, and just feeling kind of on the outside of that eliteness, which is fine. I'm not on the same level as those guys, I wouldn't say. Um, but like, at this point, I don't know what I'm building for. You know, I just bought a whole bunch of fucking master grades to build up so I could do Master Grade Monday. And yeah, they're still in a box in here somewhere. I think they're still in there in the closet. And I don't even know if I want to build any of it. I know this sounds like a very familiar thing, but it's like when I had a sense of community, when I had a sense of purpose for it, it made a lot more sense. When I had people to talk to, when I had people to commune with, when I had people to make videos with, it all made sense. I don't have any of that now. I don't have a community, have hardly any friends, if at all. People don't watch the videos even when I make them, or if they do, it's an incredibly slow rollout. My channel's all but dead on new content. I could put out new content every day for a month and nothing would get over maybe 200 views, despite having 8,300 subscribers, thereabouts. Whether it's Gundam or Transformers or 52 Toys or anything else. And it's just like, what am I even doing this for? Originally, like I said in an old video, I said I kind of do this because I needed a sense of community. And then I found a bit of community. So, like, I had something else, and then it was just kind of a job. And then it became something I did with other people. You know, I had my builder showcases. I would get the club involved. You know, I'd do interviews, we'd do build contests. My last build contest, while the builds were good, the turnout was abysmal. And this year, considering the way it's already going, I don't know that I'm going to do another contest. I may not ever do another one again, honestly. It's incredibly taxing, no pun intended. It's an enormous amount of work to put on, it's an enormous amount of money to put on. And ultimately, the money I raised went to a different cause, still a good cause, but not the initial one. And Gordon, who has renamed himself to, I think, is he now Mecha Apocalypse? I forget, it's Mecha something. He hit me up about wanting to be a part of his next contest within the group. And I said, hey, I've been wanting to put on another contest. Why don't we just merge the two ideas? And I was really excited about it. And then, you know, we ended up moving. Gordon's actually stuck kind of indefinitely at his work out of town. So that kind of hinders a lot of the momentum that might have had, and that sucks. But also the idea that, you know, I lost a good friend this year. Not just a good friend, someone I considered my best friend, and a business partner, somebody I could collaborate with, someone who would make things for me, a person that we did projects back and forth. And we were involved in each other's channels, and we were involved in each other's lives. You know, we'd share things and we'd talk nearly daily, and then that person basically decided I was no longer worth his time and kicked me to the curb without so much as an actual conversation. Now, I won't go into the reasons necessarily that happened the way it did, but needless to say, there was not an actual conversation to the end of our friendship and partnership. There was just blocking on Facebook and unfollowing on channels and dropping support from Patreon, all without a discussion. And being that I shared so much of what my channel is about and what my hobbies and my interests were about with that person, with that friend, everything that I still have feels a lot more empty now. Like, if we had all of this stuff that tied us together as friends, and you can just dispose of me that easily, then what is any of this even worth to me now? Especially things that were collaborative efforts, custom kits and things like that that were literal crossovers between our friendship and our channels. And I look at those reminders of what was, and all I can see is just emptiness. Like, and it fucking hurts. And I look at it as like a lot of my stuff on my custom shelf kind of fell in that category, or at least a few important builds, definitely, from last year, possibly year before, fell into that category. And I was just like, do I even want these things on the shelf? Do I even want to look at them ever again? Because now there's resentment, not just for that person, but for myself. Like, I'm someone who wasn't even good enough to have a conversation with, you know? Um, it was just a big, long distance middle finger, basically. And since I didn't know anything was wrong in the moment, to find that stuff out later while attempting to contact that person about something that we both enjoy that cropped up, um, that really hit me hard. And honestly, haven't had the heart since in a lot of these things. Like, I put on a brave face, so to speak, or a smile, and I might have a good time here and there, and I might enjoy some of the stuff that I get here and there, especially Transformers related. But towards Gundam and Gunpla, like, despite the fact that I've bought more kits and I've started doing other builds, I just don't know that there's anything left of my life that drives me towards that anymore. Like, the main thing that this whole channel started on was Gunpla, Gundams, nerdy content, and stuff like that, and doing the reviews. And clearly, the backbone of my current amount of views, you can go any time and look at my views, and the thousands of views that I might get are all on my old reviews. Nothing on new stuff. As I said, all new content basically dead. Doesn't even matter. Somebody might watch it down the road, but nobody's watching it now. So my channel's not growing, not really. I've lost most of the communities that I was a part of, either due to my fault or COVID or other people just being assholes and making decisions about the community to exclude people. And, it's like, I buy kits, I try to build to try to have some sense of something again, normalcy, as it were. And right now, I look at it as I haven't put up any of the kits yet. Obviously, my detolfs should be right here, and they're not. They're all piled out there, with the exception of the backlog shelf, which is over there. And I just like, do I want to do this? Like all the reasons I used to do that and this are all but gone. I started doing Gundam kits because I had lost virtually everything of my life and I needed a distraction. I needed a hobby to focus on. So I got into doing Gundam kits. then I found a community around that, which boosted that hobby, which created this channel. Which, mind you, there is a small community here still. There's still the regulars. There's still the people who hit me up and do things in comments and whatnot like that. And the few friends I've made via YouTube, for the most part, are the people I talk to on a semi-regular basis, if not daily. Um, but unfortunately, none of those people live anywhere near me, with the exception of like one or two. And even those relationships have been sort of strained over the last few months, whether it's just by life getting in the way or COVID or other things like that. And it's just like I said, I look at this pile of kits, if I had to guess, 80 boxes out there, um, of kits, just full of fucking kits. There's probably 200 some odd built kits out there. Everything that was in my detail wall, and knowing that I have to go through all of that, pick the things that I still want to represent my Gunpla collection, and then still have dozens of things stored in boxes indefinitely that I may or may not even care about, which I know there's a buttload of kits and boxes I don't really care about. That's why I put them away in the first place. And then I have this backlog of, I don't even know how big a backlog I have anymore, considering I'm still ordering stuff that I'm interested in. And I just look at it and I'm like, like I said, all the things that I held on to this hobby for are all but gone. At least with Transformers, I still have some community. I still have nerd people that I talk to about like the statues. I still have action figure friends, those kind of things. But Gunpla, two people that I talk to on the regular about it now, and one of them is Eric, and one doesn't do it all the time, but he's at least sharing his builds with me. We tend to talk about other stuff, not necessarily just building. And he's a pretty good friend. We've had some really deep conversations and stuff like that. Unfortunately, he lives like 7 hours away, or we would definitely hang out. But as I'm setting up these shelves with all the crap that I've purchased over the last few years, and I still have to leave room to grow. I have to leave room to evolve. I gotta wonder at this point, is all the stuff that's still piled in the living room just an anchor to a past that's all but gone? Like a channel that nobody gives a shit if what I'm building or if I'm building it. They cared, they watched the old stuff, and that's great. Cool. But, this my channel doesn't get views for Gunpla. It doesn't. There are brand new channels out there who can post something and they'll get 20 times my views on the same exact build posted the same exact week, and I've been around for 6 years. Double October is coming up, and with everything that's happened, having someone who was like my right hand person, and like my best friend, and partner in a lot of this shit, knowing that I basically have to find a replacement for that person to at least do some of the work that I need done for something that I'm struggling to put together with Double October, because there's no kits. And then with a 00 kit being the one that goes missing from P Bandai, it's just like, was that the kicker that finally just made the point? I'm just like, do I keep struggling against something that is failing and then just go on with stuff that I still have passion for? And that even comes down to reviews. Like, in a lot of ways I still like doing reviews because I like talking about the things. But one thing that I'm finding myself wanting more than anything is to talk to people, not talk to a camera alone like I'm currently doing. I used to have a fairly consistent podcast crew. I used to have other people I talked to that did other podcasts, and I would go hang out with them temporarily, at least. You know, now, I want to put something together. I can't scrape together two other people to come and have a conversation. And, we were trying to do the Plastic Cannibals live, uh, and when I stopped hosting it, it basically ceased to happen. It's real hard to get people together that are in all three major time zones. It's really hard to put together a podcast. But like, I find myself listening to people, listening to podcasts, watching podcasts more than any other type of content that isn't just normal fiction style TV shows. And other than sitting and reviewing said content alone, I miss having conversations with people about things. And I don't mean text conversations. I want to sit down and talk for a couple hours about shit. That's one thing I miss about doing the Gundam series reviews. That was a couple hours a day, but then again, it was a couple days worth of work. There was discussion. There was all these things. I don't really have that anymore. So, basically, over the last few months, I've been, fuck that, last few years, I've just basically becoming more and more lonely as I become more and more alone. And I can do my best to reach out to people. I can try to have a conversation with people. I can try to get people to come over, help me fucking move. I'm injured right now, so I can't really move heavy shit around, and I've got heavy ass furniture that I need to move. And I can't. I've got boxes to unload that I can do, but if I bend the wrong way or I lift something at full extension, it hurts. And I have to make sure that I don't hurt myself further. But I don't have anybody who can just pop up and help. I can reach out to people and then they'll just be like, yeah, I'll let you know. Or, if I don't have to do anything this day, it's like I went from being someone that people would jump to help to someone who doesn't get phone calls back. And at least from where I sit, I haven't really changed all that much. My life has changed around me, so to speak. Miss Joki's only been around for so long, but she doesn't have friends either. She's got coworkers she talks to, but no friends outside of that. She has to go all the way back to her hometown to see someone she really considers a close friend, and that only happens every few months. I see my cousin and his girlfriend more often than anyone else, and that's fine, but like, we're hanging out with them. We're doing what they want to do. We're doing stuff with their friends. But whenever we want to do something, it's not there. It's like it's become so much of a detriment mentally to be spending this much time alone and be surrounded by all the things that remind you that you're alone. That it's taking a toll on me. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm sitting here in front of my review desk, as it were, which is not set up. It's just got boxes and stuff piled on it. And I look at it and I'm like, this is in the way. Like, and even when I get everything back on the shelves, and even if I get the Detolf set up in here with or without Gundams on them, I still have to figure out how I'm going to do reviews at all. There's not a whole lot of space in this room. Part of me just wants to just say, fuck it. Like, what's the point of even doing reviews anymore? It's kind of fun to a degree, but it's also a buttload of work with not a whole lot of payoff anymore. And it's just like, I can have fun in the collecting aspect. And, I want to get into doing dioramas. But then do I want to take the time to film and then edit and then post and then wait and hope and see if anyone even bothers to watch? And I don't even know if any of it's worth the effort anymore. That's one reason why I enjoy doing live streams is it's almost no effort. Unless I'm going to do like a live stream review of something and I got to have good notes and all that. But that's where, when I can have a conversation with, another person or two persons or whatever, that's something I'm more willing to jump at than just sitting in a chair talking at a camera like I'm doing now, but using my hands to manipulate small plastic things. And while I want to be excited to share these things, at this point I'm not. I've got all these Star Trek ships I just got, and I kind of know that nobody gives a shit. I'll have like the 8 people who will watch those reviews and then realize, am I collecting these things because I want to review them, or am I collecting them because I want them and I like them? And at some point, I have to not care at all if anybody wants to see these things. And I'm like, do I care if anyone sees any of these things? Like, it's one thing to take pictures and do things like that, but it's just like, do I even want to do reviews anymore? It's like, I have fun over on the third channel, and it doesn't have to make sense. I have fun over there because I just sit down, I watch music videos or other things, and I talk to the chat. I stopped bothering with filming stuff and uploading and all that stuff. I just rather do live streams. Now I see why so many people go to Twitch instead of doing recorded stuff, because you get a sense of community, you get a sense of interactivity with other people. It's not always the best thing in the world. There are some issues along the way, but it's more fun. And being that I can't even get people to come, nobody's been to our new apartment yet. I mean, exception that one friend that I went to the bar with. Nobody's been to our new apartment yet. It's still a mess, but like, I'm going to go through all this trouble to basically build all of this up however I want to do it. If I'm going to do dioramas for all the Ninja Turtle stuff, I'm going to get all these statues, whether it's going to be the Mortal Kombat statues, what's the other one? Mum-Ra is going to come in for the Thundercats, or it's going to be Demon Slayer, all these things. And I'm just like, nobody really is going to care about these things on the internet. Not really in the same way. I'd rather have someone here to show it to and talk to about the thing. And I don't have that. Whatever sense of community, whatever sense of friendship, whatever sense of worth I had around the things that I purchase as a part of a community is all but gone. And it takes so much passion out of it, so much feeling out of it. Like I said, the worth is all but gone to me. I pick up this ring light and I'm just like, that means more to me than the kits that I bought recently, because I'm gonna sit alone all day long to build this kit basically in silence instead of building it around other people. Sure, I could do a live stream build. Those are hard in a lot of ways, and you worry about the chat, you worry about that instead of worrying about building the thing, in which case that becomes about talking to other people, which once again, something I'm lacking. This is just, I had to talk about this because it was driving me crazy. Like, the sense of how divided and broken this world has become. Frankly, everything has become political to the point that it has driven major wedges between friends, family, neighbors, coworkers, you know, and that's 100% what has happened in my life. I don't know about you guys. I've lost a lot of friends who, frankly, are just on the other side, quote unquote, politically. You know, I've gained, the irony being, I've gained other friends, at least via Facebook, uh, because we do agree on a lot of things. Not to agree on everything. I don't tend to agree with everything with anyone. And without actually expressing any views, because that's not what this is about. It's just the idea that we can no longer have a conversation with people about certain topics because it's too sensitive. And if you go down that road, people will literally either scream in your face or kick you to the curb or get you canceled on social media. You know, it's one of those options. You know, civil discussion doesn't happen anymore. Whether that's with somebody you agree with or not. There's just too much division and too much anger and too much built up hatred and frustration. And I'm finding myself there because I feel so alone and abandoned. And that's like my biggest thing is abandonment. I'm not entirely certain where it all comes from. Uh, but I think it comes from losing people in my life who are not dead. In my life, I have never lost someone I was close to death so far. They just leave. So, yeah. Being able to trust and care and become involved with someone new is hard. And then to build on a relationship is hard. And when you share like things, whether it's Transformers or Gundams or artwork or YouTubery, you know, you find something to bond over, but then you can let a difference of opinion on something that has nothing to do with why you're friends completely destroy your friendship. Yeah, that trust gets completely eroded, you know. And I'm not one to forgive betrayal in that manner. That's the way I see it. If you betray our friendship to the point that you can't even respect me enough, like, it's one thing when people just grow apart. I've got people I've known for 20 years that we've basically just grown apart, mostly due to location. You know, when you move 6 hours away for several years, it's kind of hard to, you know, stay connected, and your life goes a completely different direction from what it was when we were together. Like, we can still be friends and we can still have conversations, and there's no thing, but our relationship will never be what it was. But when it's someone that you talk to on a daily basis, that you see on at least a monthly basis, or if not more, someone who's deeply involved in your business and deeply involved in your personal life, and then they just up and kick you to the curb for reasons that, you know, whatever it might be, it sucks. At least have a fight about it, you know, because at least there you get somewhere. And like I said, you know, it's like the thing that I lack, or yeah, the thing that I lack, the thing that I crave the most is communication. I just want to sit down and talk with other human beings again. And I don't have that. And I miss that. And I kind of don't even care about the plastic shit that is cluttering our whole living room, technically dining room area. It's like, is any of that worth anything to me? Because I even said this to Bobby when we were talking. I'm like, I would give up everything in my collection just to have real friends again. Because what the fuck does any of this mean when it's just you sitting alone in a fucking room? What does anything on YouTube matter when it's just you alone sitting in a room talking to no one for hours on end, and then spending hours in silence editing, listening to yourself talk to no one about something that you care about but no one else might not, or only a handful will? It's hard. It's very hard, you know. And then I see Miss Yoki going through very similar things, always feeling alone, feeling abandoned, except for me. You know, at this point, all we have is each other. Not a lot else. You know. Our parents are elderly. Her parents live very far away, and really would. I keep coming back to the moving thing. The last few times we moved, we at least had some help. Less stuff, but we had more help. We never had to hire movers. We always had friends and family to rely on. Move this time, we can't get one person to show up to move a box. Having Eric come over and help with the gunpla was fine. He also benefited from that, let's just be honest. He got to take home a kit or two and some detolfs. A whole bunch of empty boxes, which he had to throw away, so there's that. But, my elderly parents were more willing to help, even though they literally could not, than anyone else in our lives. Still, no one has volunteered to come and help with setting stuff up. No one has even, people check in like, hey, what's up? But those people live hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. Cool. I got people I've known for 20, how old am I now? 25 some odd years. Lives in the same city as me. Don't know the last time I saw them. Don't know the last time that they even bothered to, return a call or anything. I've asked for help, or maybe we've run into each other and say, hey, we need to get together sometime. That kind of thing. It's been eating at me. That's why I'm also repeating myself. So sorry about that. But as it goes, I don't know what the future is for this or even my second channel. I enjoy vlogging because it's the least amount of work I have to do. I do enjoy doing it in the kitchen video because it's just fun, but then I also don't know that anyone cares when I do it, with the exception of a handful of people who enjoy the silliness of it. But I want to have fun again. I want to have friends again. I want to have card nights. I want to have build meets. I want to have other things. And I've got nothing. And it's either no one comes or no one invites. And I guess that's what the kind of person I've become. Someone who doesn't deserve a reply, or isn't prioritized, or someone who just doesn't get remembered or invited in the first place. And that's just, yeah, that's all it's got to be. And people can call me an asshole or whatever and be like, well, yeah, obviously you become a dick, that's why they're like that. It's like, no, I'm pretty much the same I've always been. Something else, whatever it might be, something else is going on to this degree. Like I said, the fact that everything is politicized, this world, this country is so ridiculously divided right now, is just a larger version of my own bullshit. you know. So it's like here I am trying to find the motivation to unpack all this stuff. You know, hang artwork on the walls, and I was like, who am I doing this for? What is this? Who is this room for? At one point, it was for me to enjoy with other people. But right now, there are no other people. There haven't been other people in a while. So it makes me question why I'm bothering with any of it. You know? So trying to figure out what my current purpose is. Why any of this exists. Why I've spent hours upon hours to get to this point and still have hours to go. Even today, I've got hours to go with unpacking stuff. And I just wonder what's the point. So I gotta look at the channel and I say, what's the point? What is this? I look at my pile of Gunpla and I think, what's the point? You know? And so I just gotta. This has all been on my mind, and I needed to vent it out. And you know, if I've offended anybody, I'm sorry. It's like I think those remotely involved probably go, oh yeah, that's kind of how it's been. Um, you know, it's just like there's something wrong in my life to the point that things have turned out like this. I don't know what that is. You know, necessarily if it's me or just bad decisions along the way have led to this. I don't know. And I'm sure there's going to be a few comments on here. Oh, you know, we always support you, and you know, there are a few good of you that you know I've gotten to know to some degree over the last few years. You know, whether or not we're friends, so to speak, or you know, good acquaintances, you know, or you've been involved in things. You know, I do appreciate those of you who are here, the people who do comment, people who do message, the people who do try. So I don't want anybody to feel that I don't on that front. And you know, as I said, I don't know what my current purpose at all is. I have no concept of it. You know, it's like I would love to do just a weekly bullshit podcast without really anything in particular to talk about necessarily, but I need the right people to do it with, or even the right person to do it with. Just want to have communication again. I want to feel a sense of community again. And as of right now, I have no idea how to do any of that. You know, and being in pain constantly really doesn't help the mindset that I've been in lately. It really doesn't. But I've been wanting to make this video for days. I've only just now had the ability to sit down and do it. No pun intended. If you watched all the way through this, I appreciate it. I know I've just been rambling. I mean, if you put it on high speed or whatever, it is what it is. I look around as this is a very daunting task. Like, you guys haven't seen the mess realistically. If you're following the vlogs, you haven't seen the mess in the living room and the amount of work that's gone into just getting that far. And just knowing that I've got so much further to go. I have an end goal, so to speak, but I don't have an end purpose. So yeah. But I'm going to go. I hope you guys have had a better a better go of it recently than I have. It's just been kind of an unlucky few weeks, kind of, and been a very tiresome year so far. 2020 wasn't bad enough. 2021 has been taking so much more from me. Trying to provide a little bit more, but it's taking a lot more. I just need things to go in a better direction for a while. And it's just, right now, it's not much of it. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go get to work or put boxes on, open boxes and try not to break transformers. So that's what I'm going to go do. So I'll see you guys when I see you.